Exodus 20, verse 3, Genesis 5, verse 21, Genesis 11, Genesis 1, verse 7.
And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so.
Flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here. Happy a deception, we are live in a that globe, you show me no live in a flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here. Happy a deception, we are live in a that globe, you show me no live in a. Read the book of Enoch, then tell us so real, Pocky was a wise man, no, and a idiot, walk with God, come back and teach us how the earth make, and everything in that, tell her how the sun, moon, and star move, listen to the words of God, cause so through them trick we and deceive, we make we confused, in a this a world where the devil war. Flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here, happy a deception, we are live in a, that globe, you show me no live in a flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here, happy a deception, we are live in a, that globe, you show me no live in a. Don't get tricked, you study the stars, study all-star movements, overall them move in a one-way, cause circular, that means that the earth now move none tall. If the earth it a spin round the sun as them say, while the sun a travel round in the galaxy, that means star fly from everywhere, but put it to the test, I know that you will get, cause a flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here, happy a deception, we are live in a, that globe, you show me no live in a flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here, happy a deception, we are live in a, that globe, you show me no live in a. Prove what you know, don't tell me more than hearsay, truth where you throw me, I tell you no space there, read the Bible, cause every truth place there, wise up every youth, please don't stray away, about the story of Nimrod, Tower make God have to make many language come here, nothing can overthrow God power, remember your history in the age of Noah, cause a flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here, happy a deception, we are live in a, that globe, you show me no live in a flat earth, we live in a flat earth, a God work, and everything live here, happy a deception, we are live in a, that globe, you show me no live in a. Fix yourself or dismiss yourself.
Alright guys, hope you guys doing fine today. Please let me know in the chat if the audio is fine today. Please let me know. So I hope you guys are doing fine today. We're supposed to have Kevin here. And let's see, I'm still waiting to hear from him. I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a couple of days. And I just want to say there are a lot of things going on with some friends, a lot of battles, a lot of disappointments, personal lives, and a lot of people suffering right now with everything that's going on. It has impacted the lives of many people, not only flat earthers, but people in general. But of course, we are in this world, and as long as we are here, we kind of suffer the consequences of the actions of those who are in power and don't love God. So I hope you guys are doing fine. I will go ahead and start sharing some stuff. And let me add my screen here. So first thing I want to talk about, so I don't know if Kevin will join us today or not. As I said, I haven't heard from him for about a week, and I hope he's doing fine. Okay, as I said, there are a lot of people suffering right now, all kinds of problems going on, financial problems, emotional problems, and a lot of people suffering and hurting. So I just hope Kevin is fine. I don't know if he's going to join us today, but I have a whole bunch of things prepared to talk about. So I want to shout out to this person. I forgot his name, but he sent me these pictures here. It was a flight from Los Angeles to, it wasn't actually Beirut, it was another city here, and with a stop in Istanbul. So this is how it looks like on the Mercator's projection or on the globe. And when we trace this flight route on the flat Earth map, you obviously can see here the difference. This is how it looks like on the flat Earth map. Los Angeles flight straight to Istanbul, Turkey. From there, I go to Beirut or Lebanon. I'm not really sure where was the next destination here. But anyway, since we don't have airplanes crossing the equator at a 90-degree angle, as we see here in the globe, Globers try to explain, oh no, it's the same, but we don't have this, we don't have airplanes flying in any angle at all other than level, straight on level. There are many, I have been talking to globe pilots for a while, and just this week I was talking to someone and he insisted that gravity tilts the nose of the plane and to conform around the globe. I mean, I brought a pilot here the other day who said there was air pressure, and the other says it's the IRS, I forgot the IRS is like the system, the navigation system. So they all say things different to try to defend the globe model. But any flights, when we put on the flat Earth map, it automatically makes more sense. So you see this Los Angeles to Istanbul in Turkey. It's a direct flight. You see exactly how it flies. Planes, once it takes off, trims, adjusts the levels off, trims the elevator, and that's it. It flies straight and level until time of descent. So this is how airplanes fly on a flat Earth. There are no airplanes. Just imagine, I've took so many trips from New York to Sao Paulo and Rio. I mean, it's absurd to imagine that an airplane is crossing the equator at a 90-degree angle. I mean, this is an absurd. All right, so let me see what else I have here. I have something very interesting. Let me check if. So shout out to Mike Smith. Mike, the reason I don't play your videos sometimes is because it's shaky or whatever, but you do a great job, and I know you do a great job. Shout out to the people in Canada. Shout out to everybody there. Let me go ahead and see the next guests that we were going to have. So as today, we were supposed to have Kevin Bobick. Okay, he's also part of documentary Flatten the Curve. So I don't know, I hope he's doing fine. Next week, we're going to have RV, Russian Vids. We're going to be talking about Antarctica lands. Are there more land beyond the Antarctica 75th latitude south? How much more land? So we're going to be looking at that. Then we're going to have Iron Horse here, Ross from Australia. And we're going to have Pastor Ryan McRae. So for those of you who have the app, the Flat Earth Clock and app, it's being featured this week on the app, a compilation of videos that I did with Pastor Ryan McRae. So if you go to my channel, Flat Earth Banjo, you go there. Let me show you. So this is my channel here, okay? So you go to playlists. And then you find here, there are many playlists, like time zones, emergency landings, flight routes, and you have the TikTok compilations. They're out there. So some of them haven't been made public yet because I've been releasing a lot of them. So I don't want to overload the channel with so many. I want to give time to people watch. So this is shout out to Mike Scribner. He's trying to get about 1,000 subscribers on YouTube so he can have live shows. TikTok, no, when your video starts becoming too popular, they censor you. They don't allow you to have live streams anymore. So Mike is having this problem. And if you click on his video right there, there are his YouTube channel and his TikTok channel here. And so just today, you're gonna see this one. It's on the Flat Earth Map. It's a compilation of videos that I did with Pastor Brian McRae, and I do wanna hear from him. He's gonna be here in about 2 weeks, talking about his journey into Flat Earth from a pastor's perspective. It's gonna be very interesting. I've been following him on TikTok. All right, so going back here, you all know about all this alien stuff that's going on, right? You probably know, have heard. So I got this video from William Shatner, and last week I played a William Shatner video. Let's take a listen to this short video right here, guys.
But first, I just want to ask you, because we just had these historic hearings last week on Capitol Hill, what did you make of those hearings and the fact that UAPs, as they're now called, are being discussed, by witnesses under oath in Congress?
It's just, in my mind, it's ridiculous. You mean some highly intelligent being goes 10,000 light years with advanced technology, arrives here and hides? Doesn't make any sense. If something could reach the Earth, they would make a big to-do about, my gosh, there's life in other places. If they're going to make that journey all the way here, it just beggars the imagination that they would hide and make it peekaboo. I'm here. No, I'm not. It doesn't make any sense.
You were part of a documentary called A Tear in the Sky that looked to find evidence of UFOs and UAPs. What did you learn in that?
That the evidence is filled with imagination.
All right, guys, interesting stuff. This is really interesting. I'm gonna go back here. Pretty interesting. That's William Shatner saying that, and that's was always my view as well. Like imagine that those aliens are traveling 10,000 light years away, 15,000 from another galaxy, and they come here just to make crop circles. I mean, it's gotta have a lot of imagination. And I have a video in my channel. I'm going to try to re-upload again because it's been a couple of years. And it describes the foundation of all science is science fiction. Since the 1600s, they were writing already science fiction. So also, this is amazing. It's important that we are talking about. I do have another video here. This is William Burroughs on NASA and all these people, how space it's loaded with just imagination. The whole thing is about imagination. So I want to play this one here. Please take a listen to this guy, William Burroughs.
Next, William Burroughs, author of This New Ocean, The Story of the First Space Age. It's a book on the history of space exploration, from ancient myths to German V-2 rockets.
Mr. Burroughs is a professor of journalism at New York University and the founder and director of its graduate science and environmental reporting program. Would you please welcome William Burroughs?
Thank you, Judy, and thank everybody for being here. One of the things that runs through the entire history of the space age and before the space age is the direct relation between science and science fiction. You're not at this too long when you don't come to understand that it's the science fiction people, the SF people, as one of my friends calls them, who laid the blueprint for the people who actually built the rockets and planned out the programs. And I did a fair amount of thinking about that throughout the entire process. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, who was the great Russian rocketeer and the father of rocketry, and who we never heard about during the Cold War for reasons that will not mystify you. Tsiolkovsky and Hermann Oberth, the German, the father of rocketry there, and our own Robert Goddard, all read Jules Verne. They all read From the Earth to the Moon, and they all had, if you'll pardon the expression, had their fires lit by that wonderful voyage. They all read H.G. Wells, The War of the Worlds, and so on. These people were energized and captivated by science fiction. I started the book off, in fact, going back to Daedalus, because I had to come to grips with why exactly do we do this. There are cynical answers, and they're relevant. One is that corporations in aerospace want to make a lot of money. Another is a lot of generals on both sides wanted to get the high ground for a supposed advantage, whatever that meant, and we're still not sure we know. But beneath that, there were the dreamers, there were the sci-fi people, there were the people who wanted to go for what reason? This is what I had to try to come to grips with, and when I went back to Daedalus, when I went back to Greek mythology, it occurred to me that one of the reasons is transcendence. I came to realize in the course of researching the book that what I was dealing with was not in reality, was not hard-nosed businessmen who were trying to keep their stocks up and generals who were trying to one-up the enemy. What I was dealing with was members of a religion. And that's exactly what this undertaking is. What else to call people, I'm talking about serious engineers who design colonies on Mars and interstellar missions that they know they will never live to see? What else to call them but members of a religion as people in the Middle Ages started to build cathedrals they knew they would never see finished? And what is the trait that has propelled this all of these years? That's what I got into, and the rest of it is the top of the proverbial iceberg.
All right, so isn't that amazing? Like the controllers of this world I think space, the globe, and this whole heliocentric is like a drug. Okay, so the controllers of this world, who knows the Earth is flat and there is a dome, have made the world addicted to this heliocentric model, space travel, in such a way that those addicted people, they live their lives because of that. You know, it's an addiction. And this guy, William Burroughs, he was actually invited to write a positive book about the space exploration, which he did. But you heard him saying how he described those people, you know, engineers. It's just like it's a belief system, or their foundation is on sci-fi, you know, science fiction. So they built those rockets thinking they can get through, you know, through space and arrive at a planet 3, 4, 5 years away from Earth. It's got to be a deep religious feeling for these people, or it's a belief system because they believe they can do that, and even though we know they can't, but it's crazy. Like I've been dealing with these people. I turned my comments off on TikTok because TikTok is crazy. One video can have 300,000 views, and you have like 3,000 comments. And those Globers, they believe the heliocentric model in such a way, which we all did. Like back in the days, I have already told you guys this. In 1995, I heard a guy talking about the fake moon landing, and I was like, "No way, man!" I mean, I had visited NASA. I was there. I saw, the rockets and everything. I said, "No, no, it can't be faked." I saw, the stuff, the astronauts, the suit or whatever, and it has to be a spiritual awakening. If the Lord doesn't open someone else's eyes, he won't see because he's blinded. The controllers of this world of Satan, they have they have uh, hooked the people on these kind of drugs, science fiction drugs. That's what I would call. And I mean, this guy's words, it's just incredible. Coming from someone who was invited by the White House to write a positive, output book talking about the whole space exploration. And he said that he was interviewing, he was talking to members of a religion. That's what he thinks. All right, let me check the audio here. Do you believe Mandela effect's real, Banjo? I don't know. I've seen some stuff about it. I don't know. I talking about the Bible verse about the lion and the lamb, or the wolf and the lamb. I don't remember. I don't have my Portuguese Bible when I was like 17 years old. It's in Brazil. I wanted to check that. But I don't know about this Mandela effect stuff. I've seen a couple videos and movies about it. It's possible they mess up. I think the controllers of this world, they already 30, 40 years ago when they made movies, they probably made two scenes different. Because you have to understand, these guys are 50 years ahead of us. They are 50, 60 years ahead of us in the game. And they probably, when they made some movies or wrote books 30, 40, 50 years ago, they already had this in mind. They already had like, oh, maybe in 10, 20, 30 years, we will do this and get their minds, confused. And hello, half Tater. So the same goes with this whole dinosaur stuff. Okay, what my views are this, they melt bones and they make a creature, whatever. They bury that creature, and they perhaps have a microchip buried in it. And they say, well, in 5 years or 10 years, we bring a group of students here to dig this out. So 10 years from that time, they come and they dig that stuff. So, oh, we found a dinosaur fossil. Okay, that's my view, because you have to understand this world is full of deceit. And as I said, they are 60, 50, 30, 40 years ahead of us. So they are planting today the deception of tomorrow. The same thing with this whole alien stuff. They started back in the 50s, or if not before that, because the whole sci-fi books and movement came from 1600s, 1700s. And, the first one was written in the 1600s, the first sci-fi book. And so they are many years ahead of us, this deception. And they just uncovering them now. So we think, oh, well, this is new. But it's not new. They have already planned this way in advance, 30, 40, 50 years from now. So, we all need to understand that nature of Apostle Paul says the mystery of evil, right? So it's been at work for many years. And, so that's my view. I think those dinosaur bones and everything. Yeah, pre-programming. That's right. Shout out to Ramon Gonzalez. Pre-programming. Yeah, they've been pre-programming us for decades, right? Decades. 50s, 60s, all that sci-fi. I was going to bring I have a picture of how they depicted, how they described it when they saw flying saucers back in the 50s. The design fits the culture of the 50s, and then in the 60s this changed a little bit, 70s, 80s, until you see the modern aircraft of today. So the evolution of the space aircraft, alien aircraft, uh, follows the evolution of our culture and our designs and everything. So you can see that this is all man-made. It's not really something that, you know, you wouldn't see them in the 50s design futuristic like we see today, spaceships or whatever, because they didn't even have the imagination back then. So you see that this thing is really pre-programming, as Ramon Gonzalez points out here. So do you think the Tartarians were Mongols? It's so complicated. If you were here 2 weeks ago when I was, shout out to Matthew Hakim, it was here we were talking about. Actually, I'm going to play a video that I was supposed to play that day. So there was a book written in the 1300s about the Mongols in America. So let me show that map that I was showing again. Let's just share my screen. Okay, this one. So this is I've been showing this map for a couple of weeks, right? And I love the Gleason's map because you can understand how small the world is. We are on a couple of islands inside a pond, okay, contained by the Antarctic Circle. So it's easy to understand. If you were here 2 weeks ago, if not, you can go back to number 17. We were talking about. I played a couple of videos of how the Egyptians probably, and they came to the Azores Island here, from here to the Americas. And actually, there's another video online, which I should be talking about soon, that in Argentina, I think there is description of the Terra del Fuego in Argentina by the Greeks, right? So let me say that again. I haven't watched the video yet. I just saw the title, and I saved to my favorites. It's describing how the Greeks described the Terra del Fuego in Argentina. So obviously they were probably navigating all over here, all over. They were all over Earth. And I played a video of hieroglyphs, Egyptian hieroglyphs in Australia. Okay, go back 2 shows ago. And also the video of the guy explaining how the Mongols visited Mexico. This was a book written in the 1300s. It's an extremely rare book. I don't even know if we can find it online. So this is my theory. First I thought, well, maybe they navigated from this region of Mongolia to Mexico. But then it came to my mind that in 1300s, there was no United States. This whole region here was Mexico. So they probably just walked, because it's not that much of a walking here, right? It is, but, talking about an empire that went all the way from here to Europe and the Middle East, and, they kill a whole bunch of Muslims there. All right, so this is about the Egyptians, and it's very amazing to me to know that the Greeks had something written about Terra del Fuego here in Argentina, this region. So obviously, the flat Earth map helps us to understand how small our world is, and the ancients were definitely traveling all over this region here. Okay, we have the ocean currents that helped them a lot, and definitely they were pretty much advanced if they could build stuff that we can't build today. So I don't know if the Mongols were the true Tartarians. It's very difficult to know because that history has been hidden in such a way that it's impossible to know, to find out. But then it's very difficult, you know. I just watched a video yesterday. The Russian flag has the Tartarian flag wasn't a dragon. I think was I don't know, was sort of a animal, like a dragon with the wings. I forgot the name of that animal. And the Russian cult of war has a guy on a horse killing that. So it's just showing how the Russians killed the whole Tartarian history. You know, they hid it. We don't know anything about it. You know? Let me check here. Thanks for the comment here. Good channel. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, Fact Hunter. Thank you, you know, for your nice words. A lot of nice words here. Thank you so much. Thanks for all hard work, Banjo. Thank you so much for your nice words. Banjo, good stuff. Thank you so much. And let me show this one here. Have they been slowed down because of the weakening? A lot of information has come out from people. Thank you. Yeah, we try our best, you know, to bring things to light. Complicated, extremely complicated, dangerous sometimes, you know. I was talking to someone in Australia. Shout out to him. You know, some of you know that I got sick a couple of years ago, back in 2018-19, and we were talking about what's going on. You know, what was happening, what was wrong, and he mentioned something about what's the name, IMF, frequency attack or something like this. And I have to admit, you know, 2 times I was here working in front of the computer. I have my computer right here. And I felt something so strong that I was like, you know, blown out to the back like that. It came something 2 times, you know. So I don't know, it can be some radiation or something that made me get sick. It's possible, you never know. We're dealing with some people, and those people are evil. Some of them are evil. Evil. They are completely evil. And I'm going to show the nature of their evilness. This is also another video that I had a long time ago. I wanted to play. You see the spiritual war, okay? The spiritual war, as Paul says. So I want you to pay close attention to this video right here. It's 5 minutes long, okay? Please pay close attention about the spiritual war that's going on. So take a listen to this video.
But I can draw one picture for you of specifically the 17th century, at the time of the Tudor dynasty. A big agenda, an important thing we need to know about concerning this matter took place. And it has to do with this character on the right, who's known as Sir John Dee. John Dee is the head of MI5. British Secret Service comes from the Tudor dynasty of the 15th century. Well, John Dee was a great occultist, sacred geometrist, and court astrologer to Queen Elizabeth, and black magician. And John Dee was a Rosicrucian, which is a secret society of Freemasons operating in the world. John Dee contacted some beings that C.S. Lewis refers to as the MACROBES. He says that under our level of perception, we have the microbes. A couple of 100 years ago, if you had talked to anybody about microbes, microbial life, bacteria, they'd have laughed at you. They'd have thought you were insane and probably locked you up if you described that. Then we invented the telescope, and now it's common knowledge, right? A whole universe of life forms, right? Beneath our perception of vision. Well, C.S. Lewis says there is another level above us, on the next level up almost, which is the same. You can't have a physical instrument so much to deal with it. The instrument of noticing that and knowing that is the human intuition. When the information starts transmitting through his work, and his work was called Enochian magic, for those who happen to be into that, when he started translating into his Enochian, those quaint things you see in museums, all that information that was pouring down, it was too big for his consciousness and Edward Kelly and some other people that he worked with. So he had to get all his counterparts in Europe to get on the ball with this. So all these Illuminati families and black nobility, intelligence people, you know, They were all working simultaneously at the same time. But then obviously history would notice this, wouldn't it? That all of these families start getting into what looks like the occult. So they sold that back to us as a period in history when suddenly there was a renaissance of esoteric knowledge in the world and everybody was into it. The real story behind that is that these scholars were all working independently on this vast amount of knowledge that was just pouring in day and night through the consciousness of the psychics of the world. And then later it was realized that having each of these intellectual geniuses working in their own little garrets up in the Bavarian hills is not good enough. We're going to have to, this knowledge is getting so much now, you have to bring it together into places where the scholars can come. We call those places universities, universe cities. So is it not from the 14th and 15th century that we have the rise of the British Empire? This tiny little country that stretches its tentacles out to the rest of the world? Isn't it from that time that we have the universities of the world rising? Isn't it from that time we have the stock exchange rising? Isn't it that time we have the Industrial Revolution's beginnings? The agricultural revolution, right? Think of just how many things that we now take for granted that came out of that particular time. Something happened in that time of England that we now inherit, which we have as modern times. So the British Empire arose and they sent out the pirates. They sent out their emissaries from the Hudson Bay Company and the East India Company to the four corners of the world to enslave the world, to get the mineral resources, to get the slavery, to get the gold, you see, to bring it back for one agenda orchestrated by just a very few people. Now, the macrobes, they don't do nothing for free. So John Dee goes, well, what do you want in return for your knowledge? And they said, we want blood. Blood is energy. And if you study the occult, you'll realize that blood is a form of energy. So John Dee goes, oh, how much do you want and when do you want it? No worries. Oh yeah, tell when and where. So the macrobe said, well, we want sacrifices. Ladies and gentlemen, is it not also since that time of the 16th century that the wars, not battles between two maniac kings with a couple of hundred knights, but I'm talking about the wars, begin?
Dozens of Spanish ships were wrecked, thousands of sailors were drowned. And of those who did get ashore, many were robbed by the locals, and the rest were captured and then butchered by English soldiers.
The English sailors fared little better. They had risked everything, fighting heroically for England and suffering less than 100 deaths at the hands of the Spanish. But now that they'd served their purpose, the English crown seemed to lose interest in them. Instead of being rewarded as England's saviours, they were kept on board ship, where disease spread fast. Officially, they were there in case the Spanish returned, but many suspected it was just so they didn't have to be paid.
All right, guys. So this is extremely interesting, you know. He described it like a handful of people, very few people have this agenda of, conquering and destroying the world and enslaving the world. You know, he quoted all the, but there are those beings. That's what the Apostle Paul says. Those highest place, those spiritual. We don't fight against flesh, about all these powers. And so the British Army sacrificed around 7,000 British soldiers, not at war, but just left them to die. So it brings you to mind, how about 9/11, how many people were sacrificed that day? Innocent people, 5 firemen, police officers, and how many people were sacrificed that day, So these beings, they want blood. And it's amazing to me how those atheists don't see that stuff. They attack us, Bible-believing people, or flat earthers, and they don't see that, like he was saying, the head of MI5, which is the British Secret Service, at the same time, he was what? He was like a occultist, okay, and member of secret society, and magician, and he performed some rituals, invoked those demons. Talking about the head of, uh, spy agency. Same thing, like I was talking this week with one of my students about like how we had a Brazilian president. He was a general. That was when the Brazilian government had dictatorship, like a military coup. So all the presidents had to be generals only, 4-star generals or whatever. And that one of the generals, he was so into occultism that when he was president, the currency in Brazil had some symbols there that is connected to black magic. So these people don't believe how these, things can happen. And so we are definitely ruled by people who actually practice black magic, Satanism, all that stuff. And it's a mess, man. It's a crazy thing. So talking about what he was saying was from the 16th century and 17th century. So this is a map I have displayed a couple of times when Europe sent all their missionaries, they were all astronomers all over the world to destroy the flat earth belief and impose the globe. It was starting in the 16th century, 17th century, when they started sending. And all these places here, they had flat earth models, the Incas, the Mayans, the Navajos, the, Cherokees in the US, and they all had their own flat earth model in Africa, in India, here in the, and since the 16th century. So that was an important video. It shows like it started with this very small group of people who decided to dominate the world through lies and deception. And that's what we are seeing today, right? And we have more deceptions coming, which is this fake alien stuff that's, it's going to come soon. So let me look at the chats real quick here. Enoch Magic is from the line of Cain. Yeah, he was a practicer. John Dee, he practiced that stuff, and he was the head of MI5. So imagine what those guys. Okay, I will find the link for that video, but I'm not going to post it right now. After the video is uploaded, I will place a comment with a link with that video. Very important video, and I have it on my backup channel. So I'm going to post the video. Okay, so hang on then, Darkika, I don't know your name, but I will post the link here for you. Let me see here. What else? Can we have the link? Yeah, I will place the video. Okay, Aleko. I will, but not right now. But soon after we finish with the chat, because I have to find the link. I have uploaded on my backup channel. If not, I will upload it again and place a link here because it's a couple of years I've had it. Spiritual weakness in high places, exactly. And all those leaders, they contacted those people. The Queen Elizabeth. It's very interesting because when the Armada, the Spanish Armada was coming, you gotta watch the whole thing. I couldn't upload because it has copyrights. But when the Queen of England heard the Armada was coming, she consulted this guy, John Dee. And that's when he contacted those beings. Now, many people know, and I attended college in the US, I learned about the Armada was destroyed by a wind, all right? So many people don't know. I've learned this a couple of years ago. There were actually 3 armadas. 3 times the King of Spain sent armadas to destroy England. Every time, each armada had about 30,000 soldiers. Same thing, and all 3 of them was incredibly destroyed at sea, even before reaching England. So this Don D guy, he really was powerful, invoking those beings, those demons. In exchange, they offer blood. That's what they do, right? Let me see about Montezuma here. Montezuma was in contact with the war god in the mushroom trips who demanded lots of blood sacrifice. Yes, exactly. So when we see all these wars, but the false flags events and stuff, the 9/11 is a big example where, they sacrificed their own people, So, I mean, right? So I don't have the presentation in full, Dark's presence. I only have that short because I extracted from another documentary which was banned on YouTube. The whole documentary was banned. So I was able to extract that part. I wish I had it too. I don't even know the name of the speaker. Garcet, what a bunch of lazy idiots. So let me try to explain. I saw a question here. Thank you everybody for the comments, everyone. Who were the aliens? All those aliens, to me, my opinion, they're all fallen angels, demons, because we don't have people just like we watch it. William Shatner saying we don't see people traveling 10,000 years, 10,000 light years to Earth to hide and say, oh, look, I'm here, peekaboo, and hide it again, and to be shut down by any human aircraft. This is ridiculous. So they have been here all the time. Nobody lives. So one of the books that I really enjoy was a book put together by a pastor. He put together some of the apocryphas of the New Testament within the Gospels. So it matches history. I mean, not history, matches like the events as it took place. One of the books described when Christ's incarnation, okay, when he descended to be born here. He had the Lord, the Creator God, is at the highest heaven. So there are 7 heavens, and he disguised himself to come down from one heaven to another. He disguised himself until he arrived on earth. But when he went back, he was as the resurrected Christ. So I believe we cannot go, So even those beings that are higher in the sky, but they are below the firmament, they cannot go one floor, let's say, one level up. They can't go. Okay. So that's my idea. This is an important passage here. For the life of a creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for yourselves on the altar. It's the blood that makes atonement for one's life. So perhaps that's why they require so much blood, and they require blood from innocent people. So perhaps they still think that they might reach forgiveness, but I don't know. This is my idea, I don't know. Hello, Chainsaw. Thanks for the comment. So I still got a couple of videos here that I want to share that I haven't had time, because our time is normally short. My live stream is only 75 minutes. So that microbe stuff is very interesting. I will upload it again here. Check this video once it's online. The other thing I was talking, we're talking about those cities underneath that's been buried. So I had one here. I hope I haven't deleted. I think I did delete. I had there's a whole one in Australia. Okay, a whole city buried in Australia. Unfortunately, I deleted the link. I'll find it. I'll play it some other time. So talking more about this stuff, and let's see here. There's one more video here. Astronaut fakes Hubble, no degree for piloting. It's all right. So for those who are just joining me, I'm sorry we were supposed to have Kevin here. I hope he's doing fine. Hello, Earhart. You'll be here in a couple of weeks. So Kevin was supposed to be here today. He wasn't able to make it. I don't know exactly why, but I got some stuff here that I want to share. Okay, so look at this stuff here, guys. I'll show my screen again. Share my screen. All right, this video was put out a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like in July. So this is the internet cables, actually communication cables all over the globe. Now note here, no cables at all here around Antarctica or over Antarctica. No, none, zero, no, nada. Okay. This video has been just put out here. Tyler Morgan Wow on Twitter, it was in July now. And this describes the internet cables. Not internet, communication in general, all the communication cables. So look how interesting this thing is here. When we compare this on the flat Earth map, so this is the same that you see here now on the flat Earth map. So what's so evident that we can see here? You know, how there is no way they can, like South Africa to South America here, and they cannot have cables here because the distance is much greater. You cannot have the tip of South America to let's say here Cape Town. There's no way in the globe. The distance is huge. So it's more convenient for them to do this stuff right here than the bottom. Same way here, Africa to Australia. And let's just play the animation here. I'll show you. No way from tip of South America to, let's say here to Australia, to this region. So once you look at the flat Earth map, you can understand. Let me show you some more. How similar to the flight routes. This here you see undersea cables 2023, World War II flight routes. Okay, Air Empire, Air Freedom. You see how similar the land, the flight routes, and the undersea cables are. Another one, flight routes during the Second World War, and the undersea cables of 2023. You just look and see, you know, how evident the evidence of a flat Earth right here. Flight routes again, you see on the Mercator projection, which makes absolutely no sense. When you put it on the flat Earth map, you can understand why it's so hard to see flights south to south without crossing the equator. This is a heat map. Also, this was a guy called, I forgot his name. He passed away. He did some great videos. Flat Earther he was British, living in Thailand, and he passed away. We don't know what happened, if he was thrown from a building, if he threw himself. But anyway, he was working, he was really smart guy. He developed his own apps, and he developed an app which showed real-time heat map of the flight routes back in 2017. And you see also the undersea cables of today, very similar. So this is the layout of Earth. You know, forget about globe. This is the real layout of the globe. Flight route. This map. Now look at this and this. Right, this this. So this is 2019 before the pandemic. This is 2020 after the pandemic. You see the number of flights. One more time, you can see how it makes more sense on the flat Earth map. And you see how it was diminished. Mostly domestic flights or close flights, very few international flights during the pandemic. And one more here. And this is also the undersea cables. You can see that once you transform this into a flat Earth map, you can understand why you will never ever see cables here on the bottom of this spinning ball. You're not going to see it because Earth is not, evidently you won't see like South Africa to Perth right here. It's just too far away for them to do, Sydney to South America, right? You won't see it. You won't see a cable connecting here. It's just not how the layout of Earth is. Shout out to Robert Tozzi. He was here last week, and this is his time zone map, latest one. Here you see on the WGS 84 projection, and this is precise. Okay, you see here Kiribati, how crazy it is. Now in this region, there are only 19 time zones. Now he divided 24, just like we see, but right here we have 19, followed by the blue line here, 24 time zones, and here you're gonna, once you look at all those 30 minutes, all these regions here, checkered, are regions which has really strange time zones, okay? 30 minutes time zones, 15 minutes time zones, 45 minutes time zones. So you see here 3:30 goes forward, so 30 minutes time zones, 5:30. So time zones really prove that we don't live on a spinning ball. And 3 hours are hidden right here, 11 to 9. Right here they hide 3 hours. That's why we only have 19 hours here. We had 3 hours here, and they add a couple more hours here below the equator. Right, so shout out to Robert, amazing job. I darkened a little bit the colors. So I'm going to make this available for downloading soon. I do want to say something about I talked about this last week, how, the time zones and the circling sun. So perhaps I should wait. I think Robert is working on another map showing how I have a map here, okay? So the sun, for the observer, the sun is always local, the observer is local. So the observer here, in this case, let's say this person here, he is on longitude 90, okay, 90 west. And he's observing, he's looking north. So he sees the sun rising at 90 degrees and setting at 270 degrees. But if you jump a couple more longitude lines, this observer is going to look at the same thing, 90 degrees to 270. Same thing, this observer and this observer. So for locally, the sun looks like it's going a straight line. But when you position people in different longitude lines, and you see that the final product, if I can say it, is that the sun circles over and above the flat Earth. Locally, the sun seems to be going on a straight line, but on an overall view, it's really circling. So it has to do with your personal dome, with observation, and atmospheric observation, refraction as well of the sun. So even though you may observe this locally, on a bigger picture, this is what really is going on. Because each observer different parts. Like I skipped like 3 latitudes, like 15, every 45 degrees, 45 degrees. I think I did it right. So you're gonna see the observer is gonna see the sun rising 90 degrees east, setting to 207 degrees west. But if you place an observer each 45 degrees, that's what you're going to get. So I'm gonna wait a couple weeks more to talk about this stuff. I'm go back here to the chat and see what's going on. So shout out to many people I haven't shout out yet today, but you know, is Cuba bigger now? I don't know. South America is very, very fluid. You know, I thought South America was south of the USA, Mexico. I don't know what these people are saying because I'm displaying the flat Earth map here. I'll show again. Okay, this is South America right here. Right, South America, North America. Okay, this is the layout of Earth. South America, Central America, North America. This whole thing here is South America, right? So not sure what the person was saying here. I'll just keep talking with this map so you can look and see. But I do want to take a look at the chat. Hello, Texas. How are you, Rocky Humphreys? Hello, Texas. Hello, brother. Hey, brother. Nice to see you here. Been following you on TikTok. Great to see you here. Southeast, not south. Hello, Greg, from Texas. See, airplane. Yes, airplane, not airplanet. Yes, sea level, not sea curve. That's what it is, you know. So I'm sorry. Yes, I don't know, Kev. I haven't heard from him, so I hope he's all right because, as I said, there's a lot of things going on. People are depressed right now. Some people are. Yeah. So Kevin didn't make it. Don't know what happened. I hope he's doing fine. Okay. So let's see what else. I'm gonna play another video here so you can watch it. About topics that I've been willing to talk about it, and sometimes we don't have time to do it. You know, it's too bad I deleted my video on. So let's look at this Point Nemo here real quick. You see on the corner, top corner, right, 10 times. And as you see, all rockets, they curve. They don't go really to space. Now from there, they change it to CGI. Of course, there's no way they can pull this off if they don't change it to CGI. And you see the trajectory of the rocket. Now this is amazing. I got this from JAXA website. It's an hour and a half, 1.5 hour long, but I have sped up and just edited the places. You see how it goes and releases the part. Now this is the important part that I'm going to pause right there. You see the trajectory of that aircraft from Japan all the way until officially leaves Earth, right? Earth's atmosphere or orbit and goes to space. So two things you gotta look at here. First, look at this distance, and I calculated this distance, and I calculated this distance that the rocket's trajectory to be of 12,179 kilometers, or 7,568 miles. Now, there are two things that we should look here. Punto Nemo, or Point Nemo. So they claim, look at this trajectory of the rocket. And as I told you, I calculated this distance to be at least 8,000 miles. But if you look at this, they burn everything, and they fall into Point Nemo. Alright guys, isn't that interesting? This is the rocket from Japan, So normally they say rockets go east, right, because of the rotation of the Earth and gets catapulted to space. But just like the Indian rocket, and RV covered this on a video a couple weeks ago. Please check out Russian Vid's RV Truth. I think that's the name of his channel. He made a video about the Indian rocket to the moon just a couple of weeks ago. The same thing, but that rocket actually went south. Right, so Punta Nemo, let me see, it's right here. This is Punta Nemo. Okay, this is all the rockets. Now, this is called NASA cemetery because a lot of rockets they dump right here and satellites or whatever. So if you follow this, Japan is right here. If you follow the trajectory of the rocket, it went straight to Point Nemo. That's Himawari, right? It didn't go east. And the Indian rocket, the interesting part, is also went south, went to this region right here. Maybe got lost. Now they send rockets to be lost here in the Antarctic. They know nobody can go there and find them anyway. Just like the Bermuda Triangle. That's why I really like this map by Dimitri. Shout out to Dimitri and Robert. We have the Bermuda Triangle right here, where all the rockets from Florida fall. So you see in this video, we're going to look at Terry Wirtz, the astronaut. Okay, look at what he says about the rockets right here.
Terry, let me just ask you. Is the Earth round or flat?
Well, that's an easier subject than Brexit or or marriage. It's round.
How do we know?
Except you work for NASA. And the point is that only NASA are saying that they have the proof.
That's true.
How do we know for sure?
Well, so they put me on a space shuttle, and they hit the red button, and I launched into space, going eastbound at 17,000 miles an hour. And thankfully, I came back around to the other side. If the Earth were flat, I just would have kept on going.
Going eastbound at 17,000 miles an hour.
All right, so he describes he goes eastbound, of course, because he goes straight to the Bermuda Triangle. But now, not all rockets go eastbound. The official explanation is that, yeah, because of the rotation of the Earth, it has to be catapulted. But as we see, the Indian rockets, they go south, and the Japanese rockets, they go to this region here, which is southeast, right? They just go straight to this region. So, deception everywhere. It goes round. Yeah, the Earth is round, just like we see here. Round like a pizza, not a ball, not a sphere. So these people play with words, and this map is round. And I like this map. You see how round it is. Round meaning, circular, not as a ball. So they play with words. Those are videos that I had stored here to play, and never had a chance. So let me check the comments, guys, and I apologize for my time. I don't know what happened to Kevin. I hope he is fine. Prayers for him. Yeah, 17,000 miles, no way. And I like that Bible verse. We'll go back there a minute, where the Lord clearly describes Earth being made with a compass. Share the screen one more time. This one right here. When he prepared the heavens, I was there when he set a compass upon the face of the death. So this is how the Lord created Earth on a flat surface. He compassed. And about the sun going around, he's going forth, he's from the end of the heaven, and his circuit onto the ends of it. There's nothing hid from the heat thereof. So this describes how the sun goes into around. This is the description right here, how the earth is flat and the sun goes in a circle, giving us the seasons. And the observer may see this, but at the end of the day, if you put them together, you're gonna see the cycling sun. Even though locally, the sun locally might appear to rise on a straight line from east to west, it's the same with each observer in different longitude lines. So at the end, you have this thing right here, which is the circling sun above the flat Earth. All right, guys, let me see what else we have here. I want to check our chat. So yeah, suddenly nothing goes missing in the Bermuda Triangle. The firmament describes his handwork exactly. Nothing gets past the firmament. So for some of the people who are asking, I'm trying to set up a store. I have opened a store in 2017, Red Bubble, don't know the name. I never actually finished that store. Some people are asking me for some of art that I use. I make a lot of art, and sometimes they would look good on a t-shirt. This is not mine. That was a present that I got from a friend in New Zealand, and but I have a lot of designs, and I'm working on the store. I will eventually make it happen. I started in 2017, and this week I went back and said, okay, let me get this thing going. But because I'm here in Japan, they start in the US, I don't know the products, and but I will eventually have a couple of items at the store. Yeah, that's why they launched it from the coast to the Bermuda Triangle. Coincidence? Yeah, it's not a coincidence. They launched it east towards the Bermuda Triangle. In India, they launched it south, and in Japan towards the southeast. All right, guys. So I apologize. Kevin didn't make it today. I don't know what happened to him. Just hope he's doing fine. A lot of people are having problems lately. Check out my channel. You have here if you go to my channel one more time, let me share. Share screen. Okay, so if you go, Flat Earth Banjo, and I will be posting links here. So you have their videos, all the live streams are here. I actually don't like it because we used to be all together with the videos. Now it's separately. So these are all the latest, but if you go to playlist and you have a TikTok playlist there, if you're into TikTok, some people like it. There are a couple of them who haven't been made public yet, so it's all there. Check out Mike Scribner and Pastor Ryan. He's going to be here in a couple of weeks. All right. So let me read the comments now, and we should be closing soon. So for all of you, I'm looking forward to have Iron Horse here in a couple of weeks, perhaps 2 weeks. And after that, I'm probably going to slow down a bit. I'm going to have maybe a show a month or 2 months. And I'm going to have Albino Galoppini. It's a good friend from Italy, author. He's going to be here with us. And all right, guys, I think that we're going to wrap up our show for today. I apologize again. Kevin didn't make it, but I was able to cover some of the stuff the videos that I had here that I always wanted to play. Never had the time, so I can say that I caught up with the videos. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close the show with my favorite song. Thanks everyone for being here. We will be back next week with RV. We're gonna be talking about that. It's gonna be interesting. Is there more land beyond 75th degrees south. So I'm going to share with you some articles that I got from a French website. Interesting stuff. And what really happened? Why didn't they keep going? Why didn't they keep going? They reached a certain distance and they returned. Why? What happened? So we're going to look at all this stuff. It's going to be an interesting show. So thanks everyone for being here today. God bless each and every one of you. Hope to see you back next week. I apologize. Kevin didn't make it. And we are closing now with my favorite song, David J. Carroll. Okay, see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratosphereus, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up, 10 temperature, left for dead, trapped in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, let there be light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever show time pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, we see through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine, luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no stars on the firmament, time is all around us, to forever show time past geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystic, luminous light, fantastical, magical, bright, we see through you like air. Magical, angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. We are forever beneath us. We see through you like air.